This is a video detailing Lynels in every aspect. The first half of this video will be me detailing just about everything about Lynels, and the second half will be me detailing their potential in the Breath of the Wild sequel. With that being said, if you know everything there is to know about Lynels, please just skip to the second half of the video. In Breath of the Wild, Lynels were introduced as a muscular, centaur-like creature with the mane of a lion and horns resembling that of a bighorn sheep. The Lynel is the strongest non-boss creature in the game, with the weakest version of the Lynel having more health than the Hinox, Molduga, and Molduking. Lynels are formidable opponents and do just about everything better than its enemy counterparts. Lynels are solitary and territorial creatures. With this in mind, it's no surprise that Lynels take up very large stretches of land with no other enemies nearby. Its senses are extremely acute, having the best in the game. This is probably because of its behavior. Unlike the other monsters in the game, Lynels aren't very social because they don't need to be, proving more of a threat than that of an entire enemy camp. Again, unlike the other enemies in the game, Lynels don't waste their time chasing around animals. They simply pace back and forth in their stretch of territory. And if you just so happen to be in that territory, the best of luck to you. If a Lynel deems you too far away but spots you, it'll draw its partner in crime, the Lynel bow. This bow shoots 3 to 5 shock, fire, or ice arrows at once. The Lynel can also shoot these arrows up into the air, which will hone in on its targets, making it extremely challenging to dodge. If engaging with a Lynel in direct combat, their moveset will alter depending upon which weapons it is holding. A few things that stay consistent, however: their shooting of fireballs and their galloping before another attack. Most of their movements can be parried and or dodged with a flurry rush. Now, all Lynels carry a bow, along with a weapon alternating between a sword and spiked shield, a crusher, and a spear. The movesets vary depending upon what the Lynel is holding, but nothing that causes the player to shake up their attack and defense methods. So, how do you defeat these fearsome foes? Well, arrows to the face seem to stun these foes, allowing time for the player to mount the Lynel. This is the biggest exploit and flaw of the Lynel, as they are rendered completely helpless momentarily, allowing the player 5 free hits. While mounted, the selected weapon's durability is 100% unaffected, making it opportune for the player to use their strongest weapon during this time. But now, let's get more into the nature of the Lynel. As stated previously, Lynels are solitary creatures who dwell in vast open areas and ruins. Lynels prefer more habitable areas with neutral weather, but are not shy of the intense cold or the rocky volcanic outskirts. However, we do not see any Lynels in the extreme heat, which includes the desert and the volcanic region of Elden. There are a total of 9 Lynel variations, 5 of which were introduced in Breath of the Wild. The first being the Red Main Lynel, which there are 7 of in Hyrule. The Red Main Lynel are the weakest out of the bunch, with 2,000 health. These Lynels favor the lighter weight and thus weaker Lynel gear. This includes the Lynel sword, Lynel spear, Lynel shield, Lynel bow, Savage Lynel bow, and the Lynel crusher. These Lynels have a brown hide with a long red mane, tail, and hooves. On their back are V-shaped tiger stripes, slightly darker than that of their hide. The second iteration is the Blue Main Lynel, which there are 6 of in Hyrule. These Lynels boast a more respectful 3,000 health. Contrary to their name, however, their manes are bright purple. For their credit, however, their hide is a deep blue color. Unlike their weaker counterparts who wore bronze armor, these Lynels hold up silver shoulder plates and skirts. They have more sophisticated, dark blue splatters on their back and shoulders. They hold a slightly more sinister arsenal, which includes the Mighty Lynel sword, the Mighty Lynel bow, Savage Lynel bow, Mighty Lynel bow, and Mighty Lynel crusher. The quote-unquote final iteration of the Lynel is the White Main Lynel, which there are 8 of in Hyrule. These are the strongest natural Lynels with a health bar of 4,000. Luckily, their name holds up to its appearance. Their mane, tail, and hooves shine with that of a majestic white color. Their hide is that of a tiger with equally large black and white stripes. They carry a more dangerous arsenal consisting of the Savage Lynel bow, spear, sword, shield, and crusher. These Lynels also have an additional moveset, which includes the fire plunge, There's a total of 22 Lynels in all of Hyrule, 8 of which are Red Main, 7 Blue Main, and another 8 being White Main. However, the more shrines you complete, the more of these Lynels will be replaced with the next highest tier. This happens until you complete all the shrines, where only 3 fixed Lynels remain. So, what tier does the White Main Lynel go up to, you might ask? Well, that spot is reserved for none other than the Silver Lynel. There is, however, nothing silver about this Lynel. Influenced by Ganon's magic, this is a White Main Lynel essentially on steroids. With a health meter of 5,000 and the potential to carry a bow which shoots 5 shots at once, this Lynel is nothing to be slept on. You'll notice the gold shoulder plates that were found on the White Main Lynel have been removed. Instead, we see battle scars on the Lynel's pristinely cut body as though it has experienced a fight prior to Link. The purple stripes of the Lynel appear on the top of the white hide of the Lynel's back, legs, and arms. The purple stripes on the Lynel appear
You already said that. Learn how to edit a video. Damn!
Legs, and arms. The Lynel has a black mane, tail, and hooves. The Lynel also carries all the previously mentioned savage weapons, with the addition of a flame blade. Wow, oh my goodness. Finally, we have the Master Mode exclusive Golden Lynel with a health bar of 7,500 and regeneration capabilities. We have been introduced to the most powerful Lynel ever. Simply a silver Lynel struck by lightning, this Lynel has become immune to electricity attacks. That's just not true. It hasn't. Like, you could literally shock this motherfucker. Anyways, this Lynel has a white mane and tail with a dark yellow hide with golden stripes. Let's detail the other Lynels before we get into the second half of the video. There's the Fire Lynel, Ice Lionel, Electric Lynel, and Malice Liner from Age of Calamity. The Fire Lynel is a Red Main Lynel with glowing orange horns. On top of that, they have a glowing trail of fire surrounding their body. This glow is similar to the green trail that we see coming out of the hand sealing Ganondorf in the cavern of the first sequel's trailer. They wield a savage Lynel crusher, which has the potential to fling fire. The Ice Lionel is a White Main Lynel with a dark blue hide and glowing blue horns. This Lynel has a blue trail surrounding their bodies and wields 2 Savage Lynel swords. Since this is the first Lynel that we see with this specific weapon type, we were introduced to a new array of Lynel movesets. They have the ability to shoot ice balls at the player. The Electric Lynel is a Blue Main Lynel wielding a Savage Lynel spear. They have a yellow trail surrounding their bodies with shining yellow horns. Their spears have the power to cast lightning. They also have the power to lunge at the player, leaving sparks of lightning behind it. Finally, there's the Malice Liner, a malice-infested Silver Main Lynel who wields 2 Savage Lynel swords. They have the power to spew balls of malice, as well as making their swords light up, which makes their moveset a bit faster. The origins to these additional 4 Lynels are unknown. It doesn't help with the fact that Age of Calamity isn't canon, but more of a side story. Getting into the second half of the video, we know that the trail amongst the Elemental Lynel's bodies is similar to that of the glowing hand trail that we see in the sequel. Maybe this is a coincidence since, the same people made the 2 games, or maybe not. In the teaser trailer to Breath of the Wild sequel, we see that there is a serpent-like creature which seemingly uses the power of the same trail. This is the same trail that is around Link, which gives him additional powers. Is it that much of a stretch to think that it could do the same for other creatures? I mean, there was my evolution theory. Check that video out if you haven't already. Nevertheless, that had little to do with the elemental enemies and Lynels. Let's backtrack for a second. The first moments of the teaser trailer showed Malice corrupting Link's arm. It is apparent through the first game and Age of Calamity that Malice decays whatever it touches. Aside from Nadra and the Malice Lynels, no being was seen strong enough to withstand the effects of Malice. Not even Aster, a formidable opponent and villain in Age of Calamity, could survive the effects of Malice, rapidly decaying him from his vital and healthy self. We see the same thing happen to Link's arm as the Malice travels up and even spreads to the right half of his torso. I mention all of this to say that Malice is a force to be reckoned with. It even goes as far to suck the vitality out of the land that it sits upon, much less Link's arm. So a tool that can basically counter the effects of Malice has to be a powerful one. Not only can Link use his arm again after the green energy restores him, but he also gains additional powers. We also see this energy being used to power a structure which would otherwise be inanimate. Would it be a stretch to believe that Lynels were enhanced by the same energy in the sequel? Perhaps not. Again, we see the same aura-like trail surrounding their bodies in Age of Calamity. This green energy doesn't necessarily have to heal Malice-infected creatures. However, it has proven the ability to give life and even enhance already living objects. And we can clearly see that the green energy can reach different objects in the overworld. What's to say that it can't reach Lynels? I guess the only argument here is that the power from the serpent could have been received from Link, similar to how shrines work in the first game with the Sheikah Slate powering up the shrines. However, this creature looks as though the supply of green energy is abundant. The energy pulses and courses through the creature's body as though it's blood going through a vessel. Therefore, it's fair to say that this creature already had its energy before Link approached it. So, what does this mean for the Lynels? Well, we could possibly see some elemental Lynels. Perhaps we could see a single Ice Lionel in the depths of the Hebrew region, or perhaps a Fire Lionel near a lava bank in Elden. Maybe an electric Lynel dominates the vast tundra area. They will carry a more diverse set of weapons equipped with more versatile attacks and abilities, such as casting lightning, hurling fire, or freezing nearby proximities. The yields for these Lynels can also be more diverse. For example, an Ice Lionel would have the potential to drop frozen Lynel guts, which when cooked into an elixir would probably replenish hearts as well as provide a cold resistance boost. But what will happen to the normal Lynels? Well, in my evolution theory video, I mentioned that the Lynels having a more pristine look. But expanding on that, I believe that this is just the beginning. We see an expanded moveset as well as a weapon arsenal that has never been seen before in Age of Calamity. Maybe we will see the Lynels dual-wielding spears in the next game, or oddly enough, dual-wielding their crushers. We see that the Lynel is capable of holding its crusher with one hand, so maybe this will be utilized. I also think that a Lynel archer could make an appearance because of how deadly their bow skills are. There are also sharp edges to the bow, so if the player gets too close, a bow bash might ensue, which would also open up a new moveset for Link. I would also love to see Lynel shield bash or do something with their shield. If Age of Calamity can make their Lynels do more in a game acting as a sub-series to Breath of the Wild, I'm sure Breath of the Wild 2 will do so much more. But let's talk about some new concepts. We see in Breath of the Wild 2's trailer that enemies have formed newfound bonds and mutualistic relationships. This is mainly derived from the fact that bokoblins were, of course, seen making camps atop of stone taluses. Perhaps Lynels can go through a different means of change. We see that there are solitary creatures in the game. Perhaps time will pass and the creatures are forced to become more social. Maybe we will see Lynels fighting over a stretch of territory. This is a game change that I proposed in a video over a year ago, so check that out too if you haven't already. No, I did not bait you in the thumbnail, so now we're going to be going over riding and controlling Lynels. Could a newfound bond include the relationship between the player and the Lynel? Perhaps the land of Hyrule has changed to an extent that riding and or taking control of the Lynel would be ideal for certain missions. Perhaps Kilton will provide us with a Lynel riding kit after we've killed enough Lynels. Or maybe his business will grow from stalking a village at night to making his own monster stable. Here, we can buy unique equipment that gives the player a more versatile means of fighting monsters. In this slew of new equipment, perhaps we can buy something that allows us to first mount, then take control of the Lynel, riding around the fields of Hyrule at a faster rate, being able to intimidate enemies like bokoblins and moblins, discouraging them from fighting Link, and with the control of the Lynel shields, spears, bows, and swords, this will open up a new array of gameplay opportunities. As I said earlier, this would be ideal if, let's say, there is a group of Lynels in a particular location. This, of course, would prove more convenient than fighting 4 to 5 Lynels at a given time. This also opens up the opportunity for an enemy more powerful than that of the Lynel itself, and maybe the Lynel and Link will be forced to join forces in order to adequately take down this new monster. There's also another concept that I would like to bring to light, the Stalnel, an undead skeletal version of the Lynel that would appear only at night. E.G. Aonuma claims that Breath of the Wild 2 will be more sinister than that of Breath of the Wild. Therefore, I could see this as a possibility. Maybe it could vanish upon noticing the player, then teleport right behind it. While only having its bones to carry, perhaps it could move faster too. These abilities can also be tied in a moveset, charging at the player before vanishing, then appearing afar prompt with a range attack. It could also be interesting to have this creature in the game, perhaps in the Lost Woods, as we also saw that location change in the sequel's trailer. Or perhaps in Satori Mountain, where mystical things tend to appear. Taking control of this Lynel would prove more of a challenge, however would provide a more competent moveset. Finally, there's a pretty good concept on female Lynels out there. With the absence of the Sheikah Slate, perhaps some higher tier enemies will hold similar powers to that of the Slate. Furthermore, this could be reserved for a subset of enemies such as a female Lynel. Maybe that's just a far-fetched ideal. But in conclusion, there's a lot of potential for Lynels in Breath of the Wild. I mean, imagine fighting and being able to take control and ride a fire or ice or electric Lynel, or even maybe a Malice Liner, or maybe the Malice Liner is that one Lynel that you can't ride. I mean, there's just so much possibility for more behavior, attack moves, and even enemy types. I'm excited to see how the Lynel species can evolve and possibly give up its dominance to that of another monster in the new Hyrule. But with that being said, I am going to make another video detailing an enemy that can possibly be a lot stronger than the Lynel without being a boss, you know? An enemy that's powerful enough to make Link join forces with the Lynel in order for it to adequately be taken down. But anyways, while you're waiting for that, make sure to go in the description below, check out everything that's there, because trust me, you will be set. And after that, if you find yourself coming back to my videos, make sure you subscribe.